What's up, guys?
Hey, everybody.
It's another episode of Law and Disorder.
Thanks for joining us.
I am Sergio,
I am Kate. Yep.
and we are talking OJ Simpson. Is that right?
OJ Simpson.
We're talking OJ. Okay.
I feel like we'll never be able to ever not talk about him.
I mean,
Ever.
you just can't ever kill the topic. As many times as we try and stab it to death, we just can't kill it. It keeps coming back.
Yeah, so
I tried to be cute with it.
there's a video now released by Fox News that's been released of OJ Simpson giving a, quote, hypothetical confession on how he might have murdered his wife, Nicole Brown.
Okay, so hold on, what? How do you even have a hypothetical confession?
Hypothetical, because he was acquitted, so he made this interview was way like 10 years after his acquittal.
Okay.
And so I guess this was right around that time his book came out, because he has a book.
The book was called like If
I Did It.
Yeah, If I Did It.
And this interview was to kind of like promote and give perspective on how If I Did It the book was supposed to be. And so he's giving his according to him, his perspective on it of, I know I was acquitted and I'm saying I didn't do it, but if I had, this is probably what happened.
I'm pretty sure if you have enough information to write a book on if you had done it, I think you've done it.
Yeah.
I'm not a detective or anything, but I'm pretty sure you did it.
Yeah. So it's crazy. It's crazy. I've been reading so many news articles about it, and it's like you were literally confessing to killing her. I mean,
he got away with it.
He got away with it. I mean,
Yeah.
He doesn't 100% say, quote, I murdered my wife, Nicole Brown. He doesn't say that.
What does he say?
He says something super close to that, like, if I had murdered her, or I did this, I remember doing this, I don't remember what happened next, and then I remember there being blood everywhere.
So he killed her?
Yeah, so
I guess is what he's saying.
A quote
he's saying what we already knew.
Yeah, a quote from his interview says, he had a friend named Charlie. He goes, I remember taking the knife from Charlie, and to be honest, after that, I don't remember, except I'm standing there and there's all kinds of stuff around, blood and stuff around, and then so forth and so forth. So he remembers having a knife in his hand, and he remembers being mad, then all of a sudden he blacks out, and then the next thing he remembers is that he's holding a bloody knife and there's blood everywhere, and his wife is dead.
Oh, man.
So it's 99% a confession.
Yeah, I think so.
And if any common person read this or saw this, could put two and two together and say, oh, he must have done it.
Well, over the years, there's been a lot of things about this OJ trial that has just kind of baffled me. It's just...
What's your biggest pet peeve about this case?
It's like we don't know. We don't. I mean, you don't have enough evidence, obviously, to say he did it, or there wasn't enough to convict him.
Mm-hmm. But
you have the guy clearly stating 99% of the way that he did it. You can't do anything about it. And I don't know. It's almost like he's mocking you.
That's one thing that makes me mad, because I think that was around the time that DNA evidence was starting to become.
The forensic stuff wasn't very big at that
It wasn't
point.
very big yet, but it was starting to come into play.
The technology wasn't quite there.
Yeah, and it sometimes I get mad at when I read about certain cases that I hear in the news, because it's like, you want to convict this person because everything points to them, but because there wasn't any DNA proof, so to speak, there.
There was no valid proof.
There's not enough solid proof that they get acquitted.
But I guess the thing with the OJ trial, or OJ in general, that kind of irks me, just go away. You did it. You got away with it. Good job.
Good. Congratulations.
Go. Stop poking at us. And then at the same time, you went and robbed that collector in Vegas to try and get your stuff back, your memorabilia. Mm-hmm. You served your time. You got out on parole. You're 70 something years old now, or he's almost 80. Just go. Just go die. Go be an old man. Go play golf. Go hit on white women and just go. But I mean, this here, I don't know, is necessarily his fault. This is an old article that's come up, right? It's an old interview.
It's an old interview from 2006.
It just happened to get dug up recently.
Yeah. So at the time, they didn't want to air it because his book was about to come out, and I think the friends and family of the people who were killed were very upset, and then other people who were in favor of OJ. It was just causing this huge uproar that I don't think Fox was willing to ignite at the time. So I guess they felt like now is a better time to release it.
Because they ran out of like Trump scandal for the week, so they just thought we would break out some OJ scandal.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell is? I mean, this isn't the right time to do it either. But I don't know. I think it's hilarious though that he can just run around and mock everybody for killing his wife and that dude.
Yep.
What was that? Ron Goldman?
Yeah.
Or was Ron Goldman the dad?
That was like her friend, right?
Well, what was the dad that always hated OJ?
The dad that hated OJ.
Was it was Ron Goldman the dad, or was Ron Goldman?
No, that's the guy that was killed.
Okay, I forgot what the other Goldman's name was. He didn't like OJ very much. I think he's dead now. Like everybody's dead from this trial except for OJ.
Really? Yeah,
Pretty much,
like,
they're all dead.
Because Robert Kardashian's passed away.
Johnny Cochran, I believe, is dead. I think the only one left is Robert Shapiro. Because I think F. Lee Bailey is. No, I think he's still alive too. But I don't know. It was just chaos.
Yeah. And I mean, when the whole OJ murder happened, I was too young to understand what was going on. Because that was in what, 1995?
94, 95, yeah.
Okay, I was 2 or 3 years old, like way too little to understand what was going on. So I heard about this as I got older, like middle schoolish, but I didn't care enough to look into it. And so I really didn't know exactly what this was about until probably college.
Okay, when the OJ, when the police chase happened, or the Bronco chase happened, I think it was the clinching game of the NBA Finals.
Oh my God.
I know it was the NBA Finals. I think it was the clinching game. So anyways, on NBC, that was the one that was doing the NBA at the time. NBC is showing the OJ chase on the big picture, and the picture-in-picture is the NBA Finals game.
Oh my gosh.
So like the NBA Finals game wasn't even important enough. We're just gonna have the OJ picture. And I remember the OJ picture, like the OJ chase was on every network, and everybody's just watching this damn OJ chase where he's going in the Bronco through LA. And then the trial went on forever. What is it, Court TV? Whatever the channel is, I don't know if it exists anymore, but it was a channel that was nothing but courtrooms.
Like Judge Judy?
No, it was like real court, like not fake court. But every day you could put it on this channel and you could see the OJ trial. You could just put it, I remember like, because
is this before they, like, is that against the law now to have cameras in courtrooms? That's why they draw pictures of everybody?
I guess. But all I know is like every day you could put it on this channel and you could see the OJ trial.
Maybe that's the trial that after that happened, they were like, okay, we can't put this on TV or have cameras in here anymore.
I think so.
Because I think that was a factor in like the for the jury and like help sway their decisions and stuff like that.
Well, I remember when they announced the verdict, I was in middle school. I think I was in 8th grade. And we had this big screen TV in the cafeteria. The only time in my middle school career that they turned on the TV was to give you the verdict.
Oh my God.
That's the only time in 3 years in this school that I ever saw that TV turn on. And they turned it on during lunchtime, and like half the school was cheering and the other half is booing, and it was hilarious. It was hilarious. And yeah, that's like all I really remember about the OJ trial. But then I went back and watched the American Crime Story or whatever it was that FX did. And yeah, it was all kinds of shit that went wrong.
Yeah.
Like the one detective took the evidence home, like for the weekend. You remember that? Like it was like the knife or something. He just had it in a bag and he took it home. And like, yep, that gets thrown out pretty quick. Like, oh, is it protocol for the LAPD to take their evidence home for the weekend? Like,
they're just making sure it stayed safe, safer in their house and at the police station.
They were so incompetent. Like, they were horrible. And then that was when the first like power attorneys came out, these celebrity attorneys that defend celebrities, musicians, and all that, politicians. That was like the first people. And he had like this slew of people that got him acquitted.
Yep.
And now everybody and their mom has one of these attorneys. But it all started with them.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
I was so annoyed at the part where he has to put on those gloves, and it's like, do you not know how to put gloves on? Like it's so clearly obvious you were trying to not make these gloves fit.
Hey, but his attorney told him. He said they're too small.
No, his attorney told him do whatever you have to do to not make those gloves fit.
Okay,
so let me hold my hand like this in this awkward position so I can't fit my hand in this
I don't
glove.
know if this really happened or in real life, because obviously we're just looking at the portrayal in the show. But in the show, John Travolta's character, who is Mr. Shapiro, he goes in there like during recess and he tries the glove on, and then he puts it back and he tells OJ they're too small. They're going to be too small for your hands because they're small for my hands. Okay, well, who the hell's in the courtroom watching him put on the gloves and say, hey, you can't put on those gloves? Like, were they not? If that really went down that way, isn't there supposed to be somebody watching over the evidence to say, no, you can't do that?
You can't touch the evidence.
Sorry, we're about to have him try them on. You can't try them on first for him.
Oh my gosh.
Like, if that really did happen, what kind of incompetence was there in the courtroom?
A lot, apparently.
Yeah, it went on for a year and a half.
I'm not sure how long the
It
trial
was like,
was.
yeah,
I know it's a long time. I remember watching the jury in the show getting all pissed off because they didn't want to be there anymore.
Yeah, they were over it. They were over it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that would suck if that one time you get called to jury duty and you have to do that.
And if you think about it, you know, those jury people have their own lives, their own families, their own jobs that they can't do and see because they have to be here for this trial. If I was doing that for a year and a half, I think I would get to the point where I would just vote on something, come to a decision so I could get out of there. As crappy as that sounds.
Because on jury duty, you only get paid, what, like $7 a day or something?
I don't know what it is now.
You don't get paid much. I mean,
I don't know what it is now, but if you had to be on the jury for a trial that's been lasting a year and a half, wouldn't you just want it to be over?
Yeah.
And I get it, like someone's life is on the line, but I mean, if it were me,
that's why they went through so many jurors.
Yeah.
Some of them got cracked. They just couldn't do it anymore.
Like I wouldn't want to do it anymore. I would just say anything to get out of there.
I would want to take a nap. I would want to take part in National Napping Day.
Just nap
on a daily basis. Yeah, I'd want drugs. I'd want to go to a psych and get sedated. Like, well, if I'm going to be here 8 hours a day every day, and then on the weekends you got to be there too. You can't even go see your family because you can't talk to anybody.
You better be buying me some dinner. Like, oh my gosh. Yeah, you can't talk to your family about what's going on. You can't talk to anybody about what's going on.
It's like being married.
Is that what it is? You're not married.
You got to go home and see the same person every day, and it'd be like working with your spouse. I have to see you all day for the trial, then I have to come home to you.
I would never want to work with my spouse ever.
That's what that would be like.
No.
And then I don't have any free time because on the weekend I have to sit here next to you or share space with you because I can't go visit my real family.
So sorry.
Do you think there were any relationships that were forged from this? Like, if you had to be, with somebody that long, you had 12 other people or 11 other people. I mean, don't you think at some point you'd just be like, well, he's here.
I mean, how attractive were they?
I don't know, but I'm just saying, like.
No, I mean, you can still go home.
You can't go home. You can't see your family. You can't talk to them.
Oh, you can't?
Because they're afraid you're going to talk about the trial. So you can't see them. And I think if you do see them, you have to see them like.
Well, if I was single, yeah.
I think you have to see them under supervision, kind of like in jail, like because they're afraid you're going to talk. So like, I don't know. You would think there's got to be some little bastard kid running around somewhere.
Probably.
Some like 18-year-old
You know
kid.
it happened.
It's like, I was forged from the OJ trial. I hate OJ Simpson. And that's the kid that killed OJ. Some 18-year-old kid kills OJ. So, what does that mean now, this confession video? Does it mean anything?
I mean, he's been acquitted. There's not anything anybody can do. So, I mean, they made this video over 10 years ago, so if they're going to do anything, they would have done it back then. So, because it's not a confession. It's not a 100% true confession. It's a hypothetical
Do you think he'll ever
confession.
confess?
No.
Like on his deathbed, if he knows he's dying, if he's on his deathbed, you don't think he'll just be like, any last words? I did it, bitches.
No, I think he'd say something like something hypothetical, like, I'm sorry, Nicole, and then die. And it's like, does that mean you did it? Did you do it? I'm sorry, Nicole? Like, what does that imply to you? What would you think if you heard that?
He still gets the last laugh.
God. What poor woman.
Good dig.
Alright.
She dealt with him all those years.
Yeah.
That's alright. He dealt the final blow. No? Okay. Too soon.
Nah, that's too soon.
Too soon.
Too
It's
soon.
only been like 20 years.
But I just learned about this like a few years ago.
Oh, okay. Too soon. Too soon. Okay.
Cool.
I'll pull the knife out of that one. Try some rest.
That one was okay. Alright.
All right, guys. That's OJ Simpson death talk.
Hope you enjoyed it.
Coming up next, we'll talk about the Menendez brothers. Stay tuned.